Okay, so we'll start. Maybe I will convert into a slideshow. Take a pointer. Okay, so this is okay. De-erythrose. So erythrose, how you can find? Maybe the two hydroxy groups are on the same side, either right or left. Then such compounds, more particularly in the four-membered uh, sugar moiety. Okay, four-membered. It's called tetroses. In the tetroses. Otherwise, what we can say in a chiral compounds, if the uh, priority groups are on the same side, then such compounds are called erythrose. If the priority groups are on the opposite side, they are called trios. So, and again here 90-degree rotation is not allowed, whereas 180-degree rotation is allowed. But what you will get exactly the mirror images. Means other enantiomer you will get. Okay, that means uh, okay. So these two are enantiomers. And if you want to convert this into a Fisher projection formula, of course, this is also a Fisher projection but this will be a fly-wedged projection formula. And here what you can take out the wedged bond is towards the observer and these two groups are away from the observer. That's what you can take it out from this fly-wedged structural representation of tetroses. So with this, I will go to the one more slide. So this is about the interconversion of 2-chloro. Fluoro means 3-fluoro-butanol. So you have to start with this 1, 2, 2-chloro, 3-chloro, 3-fluoro-butanol. So this can be converted into Newman projection formula. So this will be the front carbon, this will be the back carbon. And front carbon, what you can observe, CH3 is below, that is this one. And a fluorine is in the left hand side, so that is this. Hydrogen is on the right hand side. And this will be the back carbon, this will be the down one, CHO. And this is on the right hand side, Cl. And this is on the left hand side, this is H. This is how you can convert a Fisher projection formula into a Newman projection formula. So same thing. So these two are is conversion of Fisher projection formula into a Newman projection formula. It is also possible to convert a Newman projection formula into Sahar's projection formula. So in that what you need to do, CH3 is this and then H is this, the fluorine is this. So similarly, one more back carbon means circle one, how you can convert CHO is this, chlorine is this, and then hydrogen is this. So you can observe that this CHO group is exactly the backside of this CH3 group. That is the reason what we can say that. So this is the eclipsed Sahar's representation. Similarly, this is eclipsed Newman representation. Okay, so this is how you can convert Fisher into Newman, Newman into Sahar's projection formula. Okay, so with this, I will go to the next slide. So here I'm mentioning again, this is what is called as 2-chloro hydroxy, okay, 4-hydroxybutanol, 2-chloro 4-hydroxybutanol. So this will be the front carbon atom and this will be the back carbon atom. So when you are converting a Fisher projection formula into a Newman projection formula, CH2OH is here, right hand side H is there, that is this, left hand side CH3 is there, that is this. Similarly, you can consider that CHO is here, right hand side chlorine is there, that is this, left hand side hydrogen is there, that is this. That is how you can convert a Fisher projection formula into a Newman projection formula. Similarly, this Newman projection formula can be converted into a Sahar's one, and this form is called Newman eclipsed form. Newman eclipsed form can be converted into Sahar's eclipsed form. How may you can consider that this is the front carbon atom. This will be the front carbon atom. CH2OH. This. Right hand side H is this. Left hand side CH3. That is this. Similarly, what you can note down, CHO group. So this is the CHO group, means the second backside carbon atom is represented as a circle that is converted into a Sahar's projection formula in the second carbon atom. CHO group is this, and Cl group is this, and hydrogen group is this. And here also you can observe that CH2OH exactly backside of this CHO is there. That is the reason it's called Sahar's uh, representation, and similarly it is a eclipsed form. So this is how a Fisher can be converted into Newman, Newman can be converted into Sahar's. So what I will do here, I will mentioning only the eclipse form. From next onwards, I will also mention the staggered form. How a Newman eclipsed form is gets converted into staggered form. Similarly, how Sahar's eclipsed form is gets converted into Newman means Sahar's staggered form. So I will go to the next slide. So next slide is about taking the example of amino alcohols. So that means one group is amino, another group is hydroxy. Hydroxy is also called as alcohol. So in this carbon is taken as a front carbon. This carbon will be taken as a back carbon. So you, as usual, when you are converting a Fisher projection formula into Newman projection formula, so what you can do, you can write CH2OH here. Right hand side OH group is there, that you can write here. Left hand side hydrogen is there, that you can write here. And CHO down, this is the one. And right hand side NH2, this is the one. Left hand side hydrogen, that is the this one. So this is how you can convert a Fisher projection formula into a Newman projection formula. So once you converted Newman projection formula, it is also possible to convert a Newman projection formula into a Sahar's uh, uh, perspective formula. How you can do that? You can CH2OH is this, right hand side OH, that is the one, left hand side hydrogen, that is this. And the back carbon CHO is this, right hand side NH2 is this, left hand side hydrogen is this. So you now you know that you can convert a Fisher into a Newman, Newman into a Sahar's. So it is also possible to convert a eclipsed form into a staggered form. So that is possible by rotating the front carbon into a 180-degree rotation. That means this CH2OH should go up. That means it will be rotated like this, and, and it will come over here. And then OH is coming over here, hydrogen will come to this position. So that's what I have written here. So that means what is called 180-degree rotation. That means this will go like this. Okay, it will sit over CH2OH. Similarly, OH will come over here and sit here. Similarly, this H will come over here and sit here. So that is what a staggered form. And similarly, you can also observe that this is a Sahar's eclipse form. And here also rotation of front carbon atoms. That means now the CH2OH is below. It will go up. So when you are rotating like this, so CH2OH is coming over here. When CH2OH is coming over here, automatically the OH will come over here and the H will come to this position. That's what the Sahar's staggered form. Okay, this is how you can convert a Fisher projection formula into Newman eclipsed, Newman staggered, Sahar's eclipsed, and Sahar's staggered. Okay, so I will also take one more example of this kind. So this is the one. It's called bromo amino bromides. Amino bromides. So this carbon will be the front carbon, this carbon will be the back carbon. You can convert this into a Newman projection formula. So CH2OH is here down, NH2 is on the right hand side, OH means H is on the left hand side. Similarly, CHO is the down, right hand side Br, and then hydrogen is on the left hand side. Once you know the conversion of Fisher into a Newman, you can convert into a Sahars. How you can convert CH2OH here, NH2 is the right hand side, H is on the left hand side, and then the backside carbon atom CHO is here, Br here, and then H is here. This is how you can convert Fisher into Newman eclipsed form and Sahar's eclipsed form. Once you got the eclipsed form, you need to rotate the front carbon atom in 180-degree rotation in a clockwise. That means this CH2OH should go over here and sit. When the CH2OH is going and sitting over here, automatically NH2 will come over here and hydrogen will come over here. That is nothing but a staggered form. Similarly, in this case, a front carbon atom. So this carbon atom, uh, when it is rotated 180-degree clockwise, so that means the CH2OH will go and sit over here, and then H2 will come over here, and the H will come over here. That's what the Sahar's staggered form. So this is about the interconversion. Suppose if they ask you to convert wedged, fly wedged formulae into Fisher, then you need to follow this rule. So here I am taking the example of fly edged formulae. So you can observe that fly wedged means this is the wedged one, and this will be the away from the observer one. So in such cases, here also you can observe that this is the towards wedged bond is nothing but a towards the observer. In such cases, what you need to write? So you need to write that the above the observer group are written in the right. That means towards the observer groups or atom should be written in the right hand side. That is the rule for the conversion of uh, fly wedged structure to a Fisher structure. That means a fly wedged group should be written in the right hand side. That is the formula you need to, or rule you need to remember. So once you written a fly wedged on the right hand side, and the remaining thing you can write easily. The CH2OH here, CHO is this, and both the hydrogen is on the left hand side. So this is how you can convert a fly-wedged structure into a Fisher projection formula. Once you convert into a Fisher projection formula, so from this for you it is quite easy. So that means this will be front carbon, this will be back carbon. So front carbon CH2OH, and then CH3 is the right hand side, H is on the left hand side. Similarly here CHO is down, right hand side CH3, that is this, and left hand side H is this. Newman eclipse formula is obtained. So this can be converted into a Sahar's. CH2OH is this, CH3 is this, H is this. And similarly, CHO is this, CH3 is this, and H is this. Once you know the conversion into a eclipsed form, you can convert into a staggered form just by rotation of front carbon to an 180-degree rotation in a clockwise direction. That means this CH2 group will go and sit on the top. When CH2 group is sitting over here, CH3 will come over here, H will come over here. That's what the staggered form. Similarly, in this brent carbon atom, CH2 is rotated in a clockwise and it will go up. CH3 is coming over here. H will come over here. So that what the staggered form you will get. So this is how you can convert a fly-wedged configuration or structural formula into a Fisher projection, Newman projection, and then Sahar's perspective formulas. So with this, I will take one more example of this fly-wedged kind of conversion into a Newman and Sahar's. So that is this one. So here also you can observe that this OH group and H group are towards the observer. So these towards the observer one, you have to write it in a right hand side. So OH is this, H is this. Once you return that, then the remaining thing is quite easy. H is here, Cl is here, CH2OH is this, CHO is this. This is how you can convert a fly-wedged structure into a Fisher projection formula. Once you converted a Fisher projection formula, you can convert this into a Newman projection formula. CH2OH here, H is here, Cl is here. Similarly, CHO is here, OH is here, H is here. So then this can be Newman eclipse form can be converted into Sahar's. How you can convert CH2OH is this, H is this, Cl is this, and then this will be the second carbon atom. That means circle one groups. CHO is this, OH is this, and then H is this. So once you convert it into a eclipsed one, you can convert into a staggered one. How means by rotation, 180-degree rotation. How it is possible? This CH2 group or clockwise direction, it will go and sit here. Once the CH2 group is sitting over here, H group will come over here, Cl group will come to this. That's what I have written here. Similarly, in the case of Sahar's perspective formula. So this is how the one can convert a Fisher into a Newman, Newman into a Sahar's. Similarly, fly-wedged into a Fisher, Fisher into a Newman, Newman into a Sahar's. Okay, this is about the interconversions. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So here it will be an overview of stereo isomerism. So what we are going to discuss in this chapter. So stereo isomerism. I think you are aware about what is stereo isomerism. So I think what is stereoisomerism? Stereoisomerism means these are the compounds having the same molecular formula. Even they are having the same physical properties and the chemical properties, but they are differ in the what is called spatial arrangement. So such compounds are called stereoisomerism. But where these are categorized into two things. One is geometrical isomerism, another one will be the optical isomerism. So geometrical isomerism means these compounds having restricted rotation around the double bond. Okay, so this exhibits isomerism because of the restricted rotation around the double bond. So, if we are looking into the nomenclature, cis, if the both the groups are on the same side, it's called cis. One more terminology for the cis is called Z. And if the both the bulky groups are on the opposite side, then it's called trans. And one more terminology for the trans is called E. Similarly, a stereoisomerism is also categorized into optical isomerism. So optical isomerism means optically active compounds. Optically active compound means when you will come to know that. So when a plane polarized light. So how you will get a plane polarized light? So ordinary light consists of light in all directions. Okay. So when ordinary light is passed through a nickel prism, you will get one kind of plane of light. So that is called plane polarized light. When that plane polarized light is passing through a compound, more particularly optically active compounds. Optically active means chiral compounds. So such compounds have a ability to rotate the plane polarized light either right or left. The right rotated ones are called dextrorotatory, the left rotated ones are called levorotatory. So here, and this phenomena is called optical activity, and the isomers, the rotated one, right rotated one and the left rotated one are called enantiomers or optical isomers. So this is about the optical isomers. Again, optical isomers are of two kinds. One is enantiomers, another one is diastereomers. So enantiomers mean they are the optically active compounds. More particularly, what you can say that non-superimposable mirror images to each other. Non-superimposable mirror images to each other. Such compounds are called enantiomers. Then what are diastereomers? Diastereomers also a non-superimposable mirror image, non-superimposable, but not the mirror images. And such compounds are called diastereomers. And when we are notations, okay, for example, I think you are aware about the configuration. So configuration are of D and L. So D means dextro and L means uh, levo. This is with respect to the configuration, but this is not with respect to the rotation. Optical rotation is a experimental phenomena, whereas the configuration is a theoretical phenomena. And D and L configuration is assigned based on the arbitrary standard called Lizaraldi 8. And similarly, this is how you can give notations or configuration to the enantiomers. Similarly, to the same enantiomers, it is also possible to give R and S. Why can't we give DL? So DL representation are giving the configuration as some disadvantages. The disadvantages means it cannot be applicable to the chiral compounds having more than two. So this is applicable for chiral compounds having one chiral carbon in a molecule. So that is the reason there will be a rise of R and S configuration. And this R and S configuration is also called as absolute configuration. Of course, D and L is also a absolute configuration. And similarly, we will also come to know that M and P. Okay, this is the new terminology. We will also take few examples. You need to assign M and P to the uh, optically or enantiomers in this chapter itself. This is about the overview of the stereo isomerism. I think okay, so I will go to the next slide. Uh, so here I am taking the D and L configuration of sugars. So sugars means the starting one is trioses. Trioses means three carbon containing sugar. So here you can observe that three carbon atom, one, two, three, three carbon containing sugar. Of course, this also a three carbon containing sugar. What you can observe here, this is the most electronegative group or element. So of course, this is towards the observer itself. And this most electronegative oxygen is on the right hand side. If it is on the right hand side, we can say that D configuration. So D is assigned based on the electronegative atom. If it is on the right hand side, it is D. Suppose a hydroxy group is on the left hand side, you can observe that this is the left side, and this is called L configuration. So this is how you can assign D and L to the glyceraldehyde. This is also a glyceraldehyde. This is also a glyceraldehyde. But here you are assigning a absolute configuration, that is D and L. So D can be assigned if the hydroxy group is on the right hand side. L can be assigned if the hydroxy group is on the left hand side. And this will be the mirror. So that means these two are the enantiomers. So this is one example I have taken. Similarly, we can take amino acids. I think you know that except glycine, all amino acids are optically active. You can also assign D and L configuration to the all amino acids except glycine. Why? Because glycine is optically inactive. So I am taking one more example, serine. Serine is an amino acid. Serine is an amino acid, a hydroxy group containing amino acid. But here, this carbon is not the chiral carbon atom. This carbon is the chiral carbon atom. So in this chiral carbon atom, the priority group is NH2 group. So if the NH2 group is on the right hand side, if the NH2 group is on the right hand side, then you have to assign as a D. If the NH2 group is on the left hand side, then you have to assign as a L. So this is how you can assign a D and L configuration to the trioses and also a amino acid. Here amino acid I am taken example as a serine. You can also take other amino acids and you can assign the configuration, that is D and L. So here you need to remember that the priority group, if it is on the right hand side, then we can say that D. If the priority group is on the left hand side, then you can say that it is L. D, capital letter D and capital letter L is represented for the configuration, not the rotation. Okay, so that's what you need to remember. So what I will do, I will take one more example in the next slide. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So this is the one, D and L configuration of hexoses. So I think you are aware about this hexoses. Hexoses means 6 carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon atom containing sugars are called hexoses. So, and name of this compound is halose. Here, what you can observe that hydroxy, 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 hydroxy. All the hydroxy groups is on the right hand side. But you have to assign, you have to look into the only the bottom chiral carbon atom, that is this. And to this, if the hydroxy group is on the right hand side, then it's called D halose. So here the mirror images you can check. So this will be the mirror images, and here what you can observe, hydroxy is this, hydroxy is this, hydroxy is this, hydroxy is, that is the reason it's mirror images. And what you can observe here, so this is the chiral carbon atom. So hydroxy group is on the left hand side. So that is the reason it's called L. That is the reason it's called L halose. So this is how you can assign a D and L to the halose. Similarly, what you can do, you can take a glucose. So glucose means OH, H, OH, OH is the one is called glucose. The mirror image is one OH, H, OH, OH, and the remaining thing you can write. So these two are the mirror images, and here you are assigning a D configuration because the hydroxy group is on the right hand side. If the hydroxy group, more particularly bottom chiral carbon containing hydroxy group, if it is on the right hand side, then it is called D. Similarly, here also you can observe that this is the bottom chiral carbon atom and the hydroxy group is on the left hand side. That is the reason it's called L. So this is how you can assign a D and L to the halose and galactose. So I will take one more example. So that is D and L structure of mannose and galactose. This is the mannose one and this is the galactose. How you can, I think these two mannose and galactose are the epimers of glucose. More particularly at the second position, epimer is called mannose and the fourth position epimer is called galactose. Write the structure of C2 epimer of mannose, C2 epimer of glucose means you have to write the structure of mannose more particularly. So write the epimer C4 epimer of glucose means you have to write the structure of galactose. This is again two are there D and L. So they may specify that write the epimer D epimer of mannose C2 epimer of mannose. Then you have to write the D mannose. So that means one can frame a question on any concept in the syllabus. So what you can do, I think you know that OH is the glucose, but here second position, this is the second carbon atom, hydroxy group is on the left hand side. So then it's called a mannose. And the mirror images of this one is this. HH, you can HH, HH, OH, 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 OH. It's a mirror images. So what you can observe here, this will be the here the bottom carbon atom. So always you need to remember that in a sugars, more particularly hexoses or pentoses or tetroses, whatever it is, the bottom chiral carbon atom you need to account. The bottom chiral carbon atom, if the hydroxy group is on the right hand side, then you can say that D configuration. If the hydroxy group is on the left hand side, you can say that L configuration. That's about the D and L configuration of mannose. So galactose means you have to write the structure, and the structure is what is called OH. OH is the what you call glucose, but fourth carbon atom here instead of OH on the right hand side, it will be on the left hand side. Then this moiety is called galactose, and the mirror images of this one is OH, OH. This is the mirror images. And here the bottom chiral carbon atom you have to account. The bottom chiral carbon atom OH is on the right hand side, then it's called D-glucose. In the bottom chiral carbon atom OH is on the left hand side, then it is called galactose. So this is how you can assign D and L configuration to the mannose and galactose. So there are questions on this slide. So what you need to concentrate. So how you can concentrate? Suppose if there is a question on write the deconfiguration of C2 epimer of glucose, then you have to write this. Write the L configuration of C4 epimer of glucose, then you have to write this configuration. This is how one can frame a questions on this slide. So with this, I will go to the next slide. Next slide is about the D and L configuration or structures of glucose. So here, what is that? OH is the glucose moiety. But suppose OH is the one, then it is called glucose. Here, the mirror images. Mirror images means OH, HH, OH. So then, and here D and L is assigned based on the chiral bottom chiral carbon atom. The hydroxy group is on the right hand side, so it is D, and the hydroxy group is on the left hand side, so it is L. So this is about the deconfiguration of sugars, more particularly trioses and then hexoses. Maybe what I will do, maybe at this stage I will stop, and the remaining thing I will discuss in my next class. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So maybe I will check the. Okay, then you can log out.